you, Matt. Like,
it's all right. Oh, so we're gonna start
you know
the
what?
show with
I was excited to fucking do this shit tonight, and here you are, cutting me off already before the show even fucking starts. And you're like, you know what? We're just gonna go live. I was in the middle of having an important discussion with Zach about the sound, since Zach is like new on. Are we live?
We are live, sir.
Okay. Well,
we
hi.
Countdown,
How you guys doing? My name is John Johnson. I direct movies. Some of them are good. You probably haven't seen those, but Plan 9 is now available for streaming on Amazon Prime.
Hey! And it was Prime Day, so if you don't have it yet, go get Amazon Prime, and then you can watch it for nothing, and you're gonna get free shipping and all that cool stuff. And that's enough about there. But shout out to our newest member, Lalita.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, not Squeakbeard. He's too cool. He's like, oh, I'm gonna maybe come in the studio, unlike one of our other co-hosts who always finds something else to do. But let's do it. Oh, you got something to say first, Toby? I don't want to cut you off again.
I'm going to apologize in advance for Bomber and his for what you guys don't know. Bomber has amazing internet, but for whatever reason, the moment he starts streaming live, not pre-streaming, not before you click live, but the moment you start streaming live, his internet goes from making him look like he's in 4K to making him look like he's in 240p. So just please bear with him. His audio doesn't ever change, but his face does. He's like a really bad version of Hitman.
Great compliment. Great compliment.
Speaking of Bomber, everybody, this is Bomber. All right. And thank you for filling in on this one. As you can see here, Brandon, J McDermott, he's not here today. Logan, he's straight up not going to be here. We're not going to play the whole waiting thing because waiting is the hardest part. I happened to call him because he pulled out in front of me while I was in a work vehicle today, so I could curse him out and tell him how shitty of a driver he was with the stupid Toronto Blue Jay stickers on the back of his piece of junk Dodge. And he was like, oh, hey, yeah, I forgot it. Yeah, I'm not going to be there today. I'm going to Syracuse to watch Jake DeGrom pitch. Can't be that mad about him. He's a huge baseball guy. And Jake DeGrom, if you don't know, he's one of, if not the best pitchers currently in baseball who is hurt, and he has to do his rehab start in a AAA team in Syracuse. So, hey, sellout crowd. Good for them. It's about 2.5 hours from us. And he was going to go watch it. Can't be mad at him. But, yeah, at least let us know. So we got a Bomber. Hello, Bomber. So, obviously, producer Zach is in the studio making his camera debut. I told you he has a voice for radio. If you see him looking down, doing some typing, or maybe even hear it, it's okay. He still has to produce, but he's still there. And thankfully, he doesn't have to produce a poop or semen or anything weird like that in the studio.
He's doing producer Zach stuff.
Yeah. Damn, I was hoping.
You were hoping what?
Sorry. Never mind.
Oh, okay. He was so I'm not going to ask which one it was, poop or cum, that you got rid of. That's none of my business, and frankly, I don't want to know. And you know what? Back in a couple of weeks ago on the Thursday show, we would probably be featuring a bunch of weird news articles that was about poop, or was potentially about cum, or potentially about all these people in the UK that were pooping while coming, while having sex with a carb or something like that. But we're done with that. We have a couple of topics that we're going to were submitted by us. And one was Brandon, one was myself. I'll let you guys judge what they are, but it is in the title. We're going to talk about things that annoy our hometown, and we'd love to hear what annoys you about your hometown. And then the second part is wrestling. We're going to talk about some wrestling, all right? Because I got to admit, I think every single person that I knew when we were kids watched wrestling, and I bet you it's down to like 2 to 3% of people that still watch it as they got older. And we're going to talk about why, and we're just going to have a little wrestling talk. But first thing I want to talk about is Toby and his YouTube channel. They had another premiere today. I was less chatty in there because I was painting a room, but I had it out there and I was listening, and it was awesome. So if you want to give everybody a quick little recap, we'll put the link in there if you want. I'm not the boss of you.
It was a little bit longer than we normally have. I'm not gonna lie. Normally we try for between that 35 and 45 minute kind of sweet spot. Couldn't really do that with this one, because if we did, it would have been like 35 minutes for this and then 20 minutes for the next video. So it's like an hour and 2 minutes, but outside of maybe the last 5 minutes of the video, there's that no point in time where Angel is not losing it. The name of the game that we played is called Find Yourself. It's by Amica Games. It is known as quote unquote the king of jump scares, and certainly proved that with Angel Although the next one that we're getting ready to play is also by Amika Games, and it's way worse for her.
What's the name of the game company?
Emika, Emika. Yeah, they are absolutely amazing. They're our favorite. I think we played 3 games by them now, if you count the current one that we're doing. And just each one keeps getting more and more intense as you go. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yep. So there is the link in whether we're on the Beard Laws YouTube, the Beard Laws Twitch, or the Beard Laws Facebook, and our friends at the Talking Beards Network. There's the link if you guys want to check it out. Feel free and definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you can't watch it right now because you're watching us, that's cool. Just open another tab or just like it and then go back to your like videos on YouTube and give it a watch a little later. Watch through it. It is worth the watch. So good stuff. Make sure you guys check it out. And obviously, there we go. Look down on the Copper Johns ticker throughout there. Producer Zach is doing a good job. He's going to throw some facts. He's going to have all sorts of cool stuff on there. So if you get bored of watching it, you can at least read. If you can't read, Grim, at least we're here for you so we can do audio. All right.
Yeah, the Copper Johns ticker, by the way, for anybody that can't really see it because maybe you're looking on a phone, it's right next to the person that's doing stop motion.
He's saying stop, collaborate, and listen.
Why did I?
By the way, Bomber knows I love. By the way, I've done lives with Bomber multiple times. He knows how much I love him. I just love giving him. I don't know what it is about, and it's only StreamYard. It's literally only StreamYard with him.
Yeah, I have
right now. It's good.
I've got 400 meg. Right now, I'm picking at 81.
His internet is so much better than mine, but the moment StreamYard grabs a hold of his the moment StreamYard grabs a hold of his unit, he just gets flaccid.
And he smiles. I saw it. Bang. All right.
Bomber, the beard looks great today, by the way.
It does. It does. You got some Copper Johns in there?
I had to bring in another person that had a beard for you, Matt. Like I couldn't.
I appreciate that. I mean,
got the bourbon in there.
Oh, yeah. Do you like that?
Bourbon bio, yes.
It's pretty good, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. Would it not make a fantastic candle? Like the first thing I smelled, I was like, this. It's a little bit kind of. I know it's bourbon bio or however we say it. Depends on if you're south or north. We're Canadian, so it's bourbon maple bio. Down south, it's bio. They you change it. But the first thing it kind of reminded me like hippie-ish. You know what I mean? Like it'd make just a really good candle.
Yeah, it's got that good Nak Chamba smell in it, so it got you can definitely fill a room with it and be just chilling.
Yep. Is it a beard balm or like a beard wax or what is
wax it? And
oil, wax, balm. They have it in all different scents.
Well, they might as well just make candles then if they're already making beard wax. I mean, it doesn't take much to put a wick in there.
He used to, but he kind of stopped with the line because he ended up, instead of focusing on the candles, he started doing skin, like butter skin or whatever it would be, skin butter. I know that sounds creepy, but either way.
Lotion? You mean
kind
lotion?
of, but he calls it body skin or skin butter.
Body
Let's
butter?
Go with that.
Yeah.
Body butter. That's the one I knew we'd get there.
I got it. I got it, Hannibal. Let's just keep moving.
Where is this going? We have to stop
Jesus.
Okay. And then he also did women's cologne. So if there's any women out there like, oh, beard company, they would never think of us. They have a woman's cologne. And I think I know somebody that you're maybe going over that I would love to send a bottle and see what she has to say. You can't smell for shit, but
I can't smell anything, but she loves it. Like when I got my vanilla alchemy from Woolly Wizard.
Yep.
Oh my God, she loved that. She likes the stuff that she likes. Pretty much all the stuff that I get based on what I know she likes.
Yep.
So if we can get something over to her and let her give like an honest review, maybe during the podcast or at any time, then let's do it.
Yeah. Well, what would you do? I don't know.
I'll even grow my facial hair back out for it.
Just press enter studio again. Producer Zach pressing buttons out here. Just don't press end broadcast.
There's a hotkey on the mouse.
Oh yeah, well don't press the hotkey.
I didn't mean to.
Press mute. All right, so producer Zach, first time he's gonna make it through there, but
Dude,
so
you gotta get him one of these, man.
He's got it right under. You can see it. You could click
on switch.
There's an on-off switch. Yeah, there is.
Oh, he'll be all right then. He'll figure it out.
No, he accidentally kicked himself out of the studio altogether.
Great producer. You're doing wonderful things, Zach.
Who hotkeys that on the mouse?
Oh, bro, you know what it is, Matt? He nat won'd his dexterity roll for a second.
I did.
Look at you.
He's like, Well,
But yes, remind me. We'll send you guys a care package, and maybe we'll set up a Toby and Angel affiliate code, so you guys can make some money. People can use that code if they
I'll
love
buy
it.
a whole bunch of stuff and I'll raffle it off at the meetup.
Little spouse butter.
There we go. You remind me. We'll make it happen, and that's awesome. And I know Bomber, you have a code as well.
Yes, I do.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I
Codes,
have a code.
and he's got a code.
Everybody's got a
Wait,
code.
producer Zach.
And now I feel bad that you don't have a code. So we're gonna.
Well,
we're gonna
I
make
mean,
something.
let's be honest. You guys have beards. I have the Higgins. So
Yeah,
it makes more sense for the guy that has the least amount of facial hair to not have the least amount of codage.
But we have mustache waxes. Either way, so amazing. And the cool thing too, I'm going to say this one more time because this is Copper John's ticker. We were able to collab with a couple different Harley Davidsons, like local Harley Davidsons. So we have a whole bunch of Harley Davidson and like inspired scents and everything. They're amazing. So if anybody is bearded and loves Harley, or women, if you're into, you know what I mean, the scents and stuff with the body butter, thanks Bomber, cologne, stuff like that. The cologne scent that they have in women's, I should have probably remembered that, but I'll let you know the different ones. There's guy cologne, women's cologne, and yeah, what you got, Toby?
Okay. Not that I'm sponsored by them, but I absolutely love them. I'm going to see if I can get sponsored by them because their stuff can get a little expensive from time to time. But there's a candle place out there. They go by the name of Goose Creek Candle.
Okay.
They do have an app, but the reason the way that I found them is my wife loves the smell of like we were just talking about Harleys, right? So of course, for whatever reason, it got me thinking, all right, my leathers and my jacket and my everything. And I was like, Goose Creek Candle makes a candle scent that is literally, it's just leather. And I swear it is by far her favorite candle scent she's ever smelled.
Yeah. There's a couple that we have that has leather, not candles, obviously, but do you want to hear the scent profile on the woman's cologne, or do you want it to be a surprise?
Do you want to hear the scent profile on the women's cologne, or do you want it to be a surprise, baby? And she's on her way. She's like, I'm coming.
All right. So not only that, they actually have like a woman's hair and skin oil, which is the same scent profile, and it's called the Effie, EFFIE. Pretty sure I said it right. And it's lemon, Granny Smith apple, jasmine, marigold, musk, amberwood, and cedar. And you're going, that's way too much. I've got a whiff of this.
Love a good musk.
She is a very earthy scent woman. She likes natural. She likes natural wood. She likes leather. She likes cedar wood, sandalwood. Mahogany. Like no, you're not. No, the basic girl would have loved what he just said.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Either way, we're gonna get it to you. You're gonna try it, and if you don't like it, that's cool too. Just let us know. Again, in the scent profiles, that's why there's so many. It's not for anybody, but again, Intermountain Harley Davidson. Thank you for collabing with us. Let's get into our topics. That was Copper John's. If anybody wants to, you can go to thebestbeardoils.com. That was smart. I did that all by myself.
You did.
Made that. All right, let's do the thing. First one. Things that annoy you about your hometown or the place that potentially you're living now. Because let's be honest, everybody has something that really annoys them. Every place has some things that are really good. Well, most places. I'm assuming, every place has something good. And then there's a lot of places that it just stinks. So
She's like, I gotta walk away.
That's probably, yeah. I mean, you kind of hinted at it earlier, what you said, and I believe you said everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. Especially the internet. I think that'd be high on your list.
I mean, there's a couple of things I could talk about, but so the downside to me, like if you really want, I can talk to you about every place I've lived, which might make me a better candidate to go last because I was in the military for 20 years. So as we all know, I grew up in Minnesota, but I lived in North Carolina, Louisiana, California, Alaska, Washington State, and then I also spent a year in Bosnia and a year in Iraq. So if you want me to talk about all the pros and cons of each of those places, I'm more than happy to. I have vivid memories of, God forbid, every single one of those places.
I thought you were going to say Bosnian pizza.
Oh, let's not do all of them.
Okay, we won't do all of them.
No,
I'll go last. and I'll
Okay,
just
yeah.
grab like a couple.
Yeah, we'll do the thing. How about Bomber? You lead us off. Whether it's maybe it's a hometown and you were born and raised there and you're still there. Maybe it's a place, whatever. Either hometown or current place. What's something that just annoys you?
Tell us about the banjos, Bomber.
I can probably say the thing that is top of the list. I can just say is Cleveland Browns.
Oh, amen.
That's
the factory of sadness.
I live in a town that hasn't had a football team that's been any worth of shit in 30 years. The rivers have caught fire, and it snows a lot.
We can relate to that, except for we don't have a football team. And let's be honest, you're probably going to end up having a football team with a much different mascot in the next 5 years, I'd have to imagine.
You can claim Buffalo.
Yeah, but they're still 4 hours west of us. So
you are literally in the middle of nowhere, New York.
Yeah, actually very close to Ottawa. So
yeah, but
we can claim the Senators.
Yeah, fuck them. No, I'm not claiming them.
Nobody claims the Senate. Ottawans don't even claim the Senate. You know what? We're not going to get into hockey talk.
No, we won't get into that because we could go off on them. But all right, yeah. Man. So I'm going to say one thing. Oh, go ahead, Bomber.
I mean, and it's probably mostly everywhere. I mean, the sense of entitlement. I mean, I live in kind of a middle class area, and I'm definitely not like the middle class attitude. So the sense of entitlement of people going to, I mean, just Walmart, and they're like, I'm important, sends me over the edge. But that's probably pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. One thing I'll say, kind of keep going with this Canada talk and everything that we just did is I guess, pandemic, and it probably is going to start ramping up again. But we're border town, obviously, so a lot of Canadians would come over and spend a lot of their money because it was much cheaper for them to come over, pay the dues, buy their stuff, go over, pay the dues again, pay the taxes on the products that they just bought, still save money. Not complaining about that. Yeah. But the Canadians coming over and kind of, when they do a Thanksgiving sale on turkeys and buying 4 shopping carts of turkeys and just kind of plowing through you and just having no goddamn courtesy. And, there's a lot of shitty people in every town and, there's some in here, but relatively it's a pretty easy going. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good people, and then you get this, and then the next thing you know, there's pretty much brawls over friggin' turkeys and these Canadians and shit. And it's that's one thing that does get a little bit old for me. But Zach, you got anything that annoys you? I know there's going to be a couple. Any that you want to say live while you're on the air that a lot of people that are watching you from this hometown can replay and listen to?
The big thing for me is, so I left for 11 years and I came back. Especially the first 6 months coming back, it was the going to the store and people that I waved to. I was polite. Hey man, how's it going? Mm-hmm. But then I don't know, there's this weird thing where they felt obligated to be like, so hey man, how you been? Where you been? Mm-hmm. Oh, so-and-so. And it's listen, we haven't talked since before graduation. Do you really care? Can I just get my milk and my half and half and can I go? Cause I know you have other stuff you want to do too. We don't need to do this, but it happens a lot. And call me a dick for thinking that, dick. Come on, let's move things on.
What about Bomber, where you're from? When somebody's like, hey, how's it going? They greet you. What's one of the first things that comes out of their mouth? Is it a hey, hello? Because here it's just living the dream. Every fucking person I think that I know programmed.
I think it's a toss up between a same old or living the dream.
So it's not just
and it's I don't try to associate with a lot of people that are around my town because they're just goddamn annoying. But yeah, anytime that I've seen anybody from way back in high school that I haven't talked to and since graduation, they're like, oh my god, it's you, how's it going? It's all right. Yeah, I'm living the dream.
That drives me fucking nuts.
I like to look them right in the eyes and say, more like a nightmare, huh?
Well, I would always say, I guess if you're living the dream, then I'm the man of your dreams. That's fucking weird, huh, bud? And then there was one guy that I used to work with all the time. He'd be like, just live in the dream. And I looked at him one day. I said, if you fucking say it again, I'm telling you, I'm not only going to throat punch you, I'm going to throat punch and dick punch you at the same fucking time. Stop saying it. And the next day I was like, hey, how's it going? He went, Living Dead's a really good series. I'm pretty good. And I think from that day, and then he would just pick up, he would always go, literally, I was at the store and literally I saw the funniest thing. Literally, I was almost dying.
Gotta love those people that don't understand the pure definition of literal and figuratively.
So then it was the same thing. I'm going to throat punch you and dick punch you. And thankfully he stopped saying literally for a little bit. So we were just saying, the one thing that comes out of their mouth, but I think we're ready for you now. Feel free to just go.
So here's the thing is like, I'm not going to include Iraq because obviously I'm probably going to have a slightly biased interpretation of what I think Iraqi culture is like. However, we all know that. Okay, so here's your choices. I'll give everybody 3. All right, since there's 3 other people in this chat, and I'll let each of you choose one. I've lived in Minnesota, North Carolina. Very short stint in New York, so I won't include that really. California, Washington State, Alaska, and Bosnia.
I'm going Minnesota
and Haiti.
Yes.
So Matt wants Minnesota. So let me tell you. So Minnesota is probably the second best place that I've ever lived. The reason is, besides the climate, you get all 4 seasons, right? There's nothing greater than seeing a fall, and like you hear people always talk about the falls, like the fall in like the upper Northeast, right? Like what is it, New Jersey or wherever, New Hampshire? Everybody goes to go see the leaves.
New Jersey.
Yeah, so you get that. So you get that in Minnesota. So you get these gorgeous colors during the fall. You get nice temperate climate in the fall and in the spring. Summer is usually, I mean, if you're talking like mid to late July through like mid-August, it's horrible no matter where you live. I don't care where you are. It's horrible. It's going to be humid. It's going to be hot, regardless of where you live. It was like that in Alaska. I'm sure it's like that on the North Pole.
It's right where we are too. Same. We have the same. I bet you we're very close.
Yeah.
On the latitude of where.
Yeah,
I think
and
we're
it's
44.
It is absolutely gorgeous in Minnesota. I loved Minnesota. Now, the downside to Minnesota for anybody that's lived in the Midwest or anywhere north, and when I say north, I'm talking north. No, Maine, you're not nearly as north as Minnesota is. So don't even try your bullshit like you always try. Learn that maps get flattened out so that it does this on the edges. You're like midway through Minnesota.
Did you say the earth is flat?
It is. No, I said maps get flattened out. Don't try it. So,
don't
you start with that shit with me, you devil-tongued serpent.
That's a different topic.
The worst part, obviously, for Minnesota or any place that's in the upper Midwest or the upper Northeast or even the upper Northwest is always going to be winter and snow. Like a lot of people hate it. I personally, I love it. I love snow. I love the winter. I don't have a problem with all the slush and the blizzards and everything else that everybody else hates. And the reason is because I am a child at heart, but an adult in body, which means I still have the ability to see shit. I have to shovel the driveway, but at the same time, I can go, I bet there's some really cool fucking snow hills around the corner.
Yeah. The worst is, though, where we're from, you get the snow, and then it's negative 35 for 2.5 weeks, and you can't go enjoy the shit because it's so goddamn cold.
Yeah. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into how I felt about Alaska. So Alaska, probably, let's see here. I said Minnesota was my second, so Alaska is my third favorite state for all the exact same reasons as Minnesota, with the difference that you don't get, it's not like what they say where you have 24 hours of darkness. You might have 24 hours of darkness for about 20 days.
That's certain areas too. It's not all of Alaska, right?
Yeah, as high as Fairbanks, like the more north you get. So a lot of people don't realize.
As high as Logan on the Tuesday show.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize is that Alaska is the largest of all the 50 U.S. states. Texans want to tell you that it's them, and what they don't realize is it takes 5 Texases to fill the United States, whereas in comparison, it only takes 2 Alaska. Two. So So suck it up, Texas.
Hold on. Did you see Rozzy's comment? That's
Of
good.
course I did. Of course I
Okay.
did. And
I
I'll
saw the
break
smile.
his leg again when he shows back
Oh.
up on my property. So
Just
Do a
had him
kickflip,
skateboard.
who knows, I
Rozzy.
just kind of took it in stride. I was gonna let it go, not say anything, and then what I was gonna do was smash his ankle with the skateboard as soon as he showed up on my property. But see, you've ruined it now, Matt.
Because I'm just a
Now
skater
it's you.
boy. He said,
Now
"See you
it's
later,
you.
boy." That's on me. That's on me.
But
Before
no,
we get into
Ala-
the third one, I just want to remind people really quick that we do have the picker wheel. So if you have any
Yes.
questions for the picker wheel, please let us know. It can be anything. It can be, what's your, I don't know. I was going to say everything was dirty that was coming. Any question in the entire world, we'll spin it. If we land it, we have to talk about it. All right.
That's right.
All right.
So I'll finish Alaska real quick. Like the best part about Alaska, one is where I was in Fairbanks. I love riding my motorcycle. The summertime, you pretty much literally get 24 hours of daylight, like
Wow.
without having to put on headlights or anything for about 3 straight months. It does suck, but I mean, you cover up your windows and you're fine. But it is gorgeous, and I couldn't drive more than 10 minutes without going up a mountain range in any
Wow.
direction.
That's awesome.
And it was beautiful view. Like I loved Alaska. Hunting is amazing. Outdoor activities are awesome. And I can stand the cold. It's a little too cold for me, which is why I give it that 1 notch below Minnesota. So I've covered those 2 places. Bomber, where would you like me to rate?
Just because it just going to be an interesting conversation. California.
Fuck California.
Yeah.
All right, so let me explain real quick why I hate California. Californians. It really is mostly that. Their climate actually isn't bad. Not a huge fan of the scenery in California. I'm not gigantic on the ocean, and outside of the ocean with California, there's not a shit ton there. You get a little bit of mountain range and a little bit of hills there, but outside of that, like fucking Californians. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, if you live in California, you might be a good person. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say all Californians because I'm not that blanket person. But in general, the majority, when out of 100 people that I've probably met from California, 99 and 1/2, because one was a midget, were all horrible, shitty personalities. I'm just going to go with that's California.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine I have met a decent amount of people through social media and stuff that were California. A lot of them are typical Californians. And then a lot of people that move from all over the world to Cali, they start to become them. I don't know what it is. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't get it.
It's
I don't
just
get it.
like I've got one of my mods. Like, I mean, I love KK Cali, babe. Like, I love her, but she is your stereotypical super ditzy blonde valley girl. She's that. She's an awesome person, but goddamn, if you're trying to explain something to her, set aside some time, bro. Like, I love her to death, but I have to look at my watch and go, all right, I got time for this.
I got to.
I
Nice.
feel
What's up?
heat lasers being shot through me to Toby by Khaleesi.
I can't help it that Khaleesi fits right into that fucking rest of the genre.
Yep, that is. Shout out to Jeremy Littal. What's up, my dude? Pretty soon, hey, hit me up. Remind me. We're gonna have the kick-ass jerky ticker in an episode coming up there. That shit's amazing. So good. All right, let's.
So I'm gonna
go
hold
ahead.
on real quick, Zach. Where you got for me? Do you want me to cover anywhere? Do you remember all the places I said that I've been?
Let's do Bosnia. I made the Bosnian pizza joke, so let's do Bosnia.
Bosnia is number 1.
Hey,
Bosnia is the outside. Listen, as it was completely war torn when I went, obviously, because I went at the peak of the Bosnia Herzegovina war with Kosovo and all that other stuff going on. But climate, the people that are there, the environment, the temperatures, like everything in Bosnia, I'm not gonna lie to you, was like, it was gorgeous. It was like being at home, just in a completely different culture. And the reason why it tips the scale on Minnesota is every girl there still wears spandex disco jeans.
Hell yeah.
Long, dark hair, olive skin. They all look like they've just been doing Jane Fonda's workout their whole lives, wearing spandex disco jeans like they're still in style. Chef's kiss, Bosnia, number one.
Bosnia, number one. Hell yeah. Wow, that was good. That was a good topic. Thanks, Brandon. Brandon, that was his idea. Couldn't be here, but that was a good topic. Let's go with one I had. If you guys want to, I mean, you guys watch wrestling either as adults or children, like the WWF or what, you know what I mean, like that kind of wrestling.
Yeah, I'm not a current wrestler. I'm not a current wrestling fan. I am a 80s through Attitude Era 90s wrestling fan.
Okay, same here, and I have to imagine just about all of us, you know, we're the same. Obviously, Zach's probably the youngest, but I think he does appreciate it as well. And you guys were actually wrestlers, like the real kind of wrestling. Not saying that the WWF is fake, but one thing that is very intriguing to me is pretty much every single person I knew growing up, watched wrestling,
Doing great,
loved wrestling. You were getting, you know, stunners in the hallway, like it was just a thing, you know what I mean? The shirts, the toys, and like I said, Squeak said earlier, he was Macho Man Randy Savage for like 7 Halloweens, I think. So I mean, it was just a thing, and now, I mean, just being out in, you know, say a store that begins with W and rhymes with fart, you go into the toy section, you don't see a ton of wrestling stuff, you know what I mean? And you don't see a lot of kids that are wearing the attire. And the only reason, honestly, that I even hear the word wrestling or hear a little bit about it is because I listen to the Pat McAfee show. And now he's going to be on SummerSlam, and he was a retired contract. Yeah, he's a retired NFL punter for the Indianapolis Colts, and now he is into the wrestling scene as a wrestler.
I tell you what, man, his WrestleMania day. What was the name again? It was what was his name?
Who did he go up against?
No, I'm trying to remember the name of the. It's Pat, right? It's
Pat McAfee.
Yes.
McAfee, yeah,
dude, his debut in WrestleMania was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of current wrestling. I did watch this year's WrestleMania. Some people were kind enough to give me access to it, and it kind of jump started me back into it. And I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons why it jump started me back into it was because of McAfee.
Yeah, same.
He had a great match. It had a lot going on. He surprised the hell out of me. I'll tell you that. Like with
his athleticism.
Yes. Oh my God! Like
jumping up in the corners.
When he did the jump up in the corner and the suplex from the corner, I was like, yeah, woo! Yeah, we were watching it on my live on High Notes, and I was just getting excited. But that was
good, and that's, you know, and that kind of what triggered this question. You know what I mean? Like, we were all there. We lived kind of the same, you know, era of wrestling and everything. But like, what do you think changed? Is it because there's more shit for kids to watch, and, you know, or do you think it's the not the show, but the sport itself?
I feel. I'm sorry. I'll let somebody else go before. Bomber will be able to tell you this is a topic that regularly we end up falling into on my lives, and I end up talking for like an hour and a half on this.
Okay. Well, if you go too long, I'll cut you off.
Yeah, I don't know what would have possibly changed to. Are you saying more like sway people away from it?
Yeah, I mean, it just I
mean. I guess
know. I guess I would say I think what Matt's trying to say is what has caused people to seemingly, I mean, and I'm gonna say it seems like that for me because I don't watch anymore, but what has caused it seems like there's been a sway in the age targeted the targeted age group for the audience versus what it used to be, where it was almost like we're trying to get everybody with this, to where it seems like a lot of the older crowd, like those of us that are I'm going to say what I'm going to say. The Gen Xers and early millennials do not watch wrestling as much as when it was out in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s is being viewed now.
Yep.
I mean, I watch a fair amount. Like, you know, we'll have it on Monday night and Friday night or whatever. I mean, I'm not sitting there intently with every episode, but I mean, it's still a good smattering of people. I mean, age groups. I mean, there's the kids there. You know, you don't really have any of the face painting anymore because nobody really face paints anymore.
Yeah, you don't have your Ultimate Warriors.
Yeah, you don't have the kids all Ultimate Warriored out, but I don't know. I think honestly, it took a kind of a bit of a turn, and I applaud WWE for this of how they handled it. Was when COVID hit. They kept going, but had it in a studio, and then they eventually got to a point where you could log into a live stream and be put up on a monitor like you were sitting in the crowd.
That was smart of them. I will say that was smart of them. It got more people in a world where everybody wants to be instantly famous and instantly seen. Like, you guys will see that on your social media lives. People come in, I want a shout out. It's the same concept.
Yeah, and it was. I think that was an absolutely amazing move on their part. I don't know. I mean,
what else I think they're doing really well too is with the cameo appearances. Like, they had Stone Cold with Pat McAfee on there. You know what I mean?
I called it that he was going to be there for both nights. There was doubters out there, but I was like, I feel like he's going to be there both nights.
Yep. And I'd have to imagine, again, not being a guy that watches it currently, but I have to imagine a lot of the wrestlers are still really good at what they do. I'm assuming, you know what I mean? They're not act, but their personalities are really good. They probably play into the parts really well. They're obviously freaks of nature. You know what I mean? You're not going to have the Mankind McFoleys that are huge names.
Current day wrestlers, absolutely. They're beasts.
Yeah,
it's like looking at a shit ton of Iron Sanctuaries out there.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's I do have to say they have a good, they have all the heavyweight big guys, and then they also have the smaller guys that are absolutely their athleticism and their being able to, run the ropes in a sense and jump from one set. Yeah, Rey Mysterio,
Sin Cara.
RVD jumps to my mind from a little bit.
Well, and here's the other. See, and we're all mentioning people that really were bigger back in the late 90s and in early 2000s. But here's the thing: is professional wrestling, believe it or not, whether people want to admit it or not, professional wrestling actually is very hand in hand with professional boxing. The heavyweights draw the crowds, but your best matches are seen at that middleweight, super welterweight, and light heavyweight division. Mm-hmm. Your heavyweights are the big brawlers. They're like your Brock Lesnar's, you know what I mean? But then your excitement comes from the lighter weight classes where you've got your high flyers and you've got your fast guys. Like, let's be honest, back during the Attitude Era, heavyweights were the main attraction. You had your Stone Cold, you had your Rock, you had Mick Foley, you had Undertaker, you had Kane. That's all your Triple H. All these guys are your heavyweights.
Not to mention when NWO came over.
But at the same time, you also had the greatest triple threat tag team matches on the face of the planet between 3D and the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian. And these are your lightweight, these are your light heavyweights, these are your super welterweights. Like, even back then in the Attitude Era, the heavyweights are used to draw the crowd, but to keep the crowd, it's the lower weight classes that keep them. If all you ever do is have heavyweights, it's eventually going to falter and you need to find a new plan. That's where you kind of ran into problems from the 1980s moving into the Attitude Era, because as the 80s faded out, all the 80s ever had was heavyweights.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Randy Macho Man Savage, George the Animal Steel. I can go on and on. They're all considered your heavyweight class.
Yep.
And as you started moving on, people needed something, not to mention the fact that you look at the move sets that people do nowadays and compare that to Hulk Hogan's leg drop, which, let's be honest, it's a joke. But the reason why it worked versus why, the reason you still get that kind of love for Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, even though their move sets weren't nearly as dynamic, nearly as complicated, is because their personalities are better than the personalities of today. You can have the most acrobatic, just death-defying move set on the face of the planet. But if you have the personality of a wooden plank, you're garbage to watch. There's no more storyline. There's no more soap opera. Back in the day, you would have guys would come and they'd be pre-recorded. We all know that they were pre-recorded, but Mean Gene Okerlund sitting there and having a conversation with the Macho Man, like right before he goes out to the ring. And then as soon as it's over, another interview talking about what happened. Well, you know what? I went in there and Hulk Hogan got the best of me. It was something, it was a soap opera, and it was really, really easy to get yourself involved in because there was they didn't have to be overly complicated, but they were just so intriguing of storylines. Everybody remembers the three-way tear between Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, and Miss Elizabeth. We all know it. Whether you say you do or not, me just mentioning it, you go, holy shit, yep.
Holy shit, yep.
You know it. Tell me a storyline that means shit to you at any point in time in literally the last decade. It's not nearly as gripping as anything that happened in Attitude Era.
No.
Nothing that happened in the 80s. If I mentioned Stone Cold Steve Austin smacking Vince McMahon with a bedpan in the hospital, you remember it. If I talk to you about DX showing up at WCW essentially in a Jeep with a 50 cal on it, you remember that. But you don't remember shit that happens anymore because it's stale, boring, flaccid storylines that give no depth to your characters, and you're relying on these high-flying moves and these guys just having these builds, and it's just not drawing to the audience anymore. It might be to a younger crowd who has that shorter attention span, and they won't be able to hang on to that backstory and all the other things that are happening. But to your Gen Xers, your early millennials, and even quite a bit of your Gen Zers, they need that. We need that in order to stick with this type of entertainment. We need a story. We're the ones that like going to watch movies and watching a movie that's got a really good plot with a good backstory to develop the whole movie. You're not doing that anymore. And if you're not doing that, you're eventually going to lose, which is why they have to adapt to this TikTok style marketing of, hey, I'm going to throw your face up onto this giant screen. I'm going to give you that chance for your 30 seconds of fame. And that's
Imagine
what
if Mankind had a TikTok.
What's that?
Imagine if Mankind had a TikTok.
Oh God,
that'd be
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
But you have to imagine too, like back, when this wrestling and everything was, in its prime, you didn't have all these short form stuff. And now I think so many people in that younger generation, they don't have the attention span for this stuff of, 30, 60 seconds, a couple of minutes. And it's, this is boring. They don't want the buildup of that, that drama and that storyline anymore.
In a way,
Dude,
in
and
a way,
that's
I
what
think they
drove.
do, though.
That's what really drove your matches back in the day, and not just like the major ones like WrestleMania or pay-per-views. Like I'm literally like Sunday morning wrestling used to be a big thing. Like Saturday, it was Saturday, yeah, because you'd have Saturday morning cartoons and Sunday morning wrestling, and it would be all these things would drive up. And they would drive these storylines to just build and build and build and continue to be more intense. And then that Sunday, when they know nobody's at work, it's Sunday morning, and everybody is just now you're glued. Like I grew up watching Jerry Blackwell and Greg and Jim Vanya and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orton and Baron von Raschke, like the Fantastics. That's who I grew up watching, and those people are the ones that really that's how they did it, man. Like All American Wrestling back in the day was like huge for me. That was the Midwest thing. And then the Fabulous Freebirds, I learned about all these other ones, and they eventually, like WWF just eventually, I'm sorry, I'm not calling them WWE. Fuck you. And fuck that panda wielding WWE or WWF that made them change their shit. But I really do miss old school wrestling just because even if the move sets and like their abilities weren't nearly as good, the stories, it was just the stories. It was just a muscle bound, literally, it was just a muscle bound daily soap opera, and it was just it would
For
hook
men.
you. Yeah, and it would
Well,
hook
you know,
because you compare. Okay, who's your bad guy nowadays? Like, who's your bad guy that people are like, fuck that guy? Who is it?
I don't know.
Anybody?
I know they brought Brock Lesnar back at WrestleMania, but I don't know if he's a heel or not. Still.
It's kind of a split right now. People are kind of either for or against Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Okay,
Really?
so let's take Roman Reigns.
I like Roman.
Okay, so here you got Roman Reigns, right? Which, by the way, he's my long shot for celebrity death in 2023.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I said what I said. This year,
I
it's
thought you were going to bring up celebrity death match for a second.
No. This year, my long shot for celebrity death is Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Same person, aren't they?
But take Roman Reigns, right? Who's like your bad guy of bad guys right now. Go ahead and compare him and his storyline and his TV appearances and his spots, his speaking spots. Compare him with the bad guy back in the day, Ric Flair.
Yeah, or DX. You can't compare them.
Yeah, or Jesse the Body Ventura, who was another bad guy. Like he was the one that he was the Deadpool. Jesse Ventura was the Deadpool. He was the anti-hero, right? Like everybody loved him, but he supposedly was like the guy you're not supposed to like, which is what Steve Austin was. People don't realize that Steve Austin was not a good guy. Steve Austin was a heel the whole time.
Yeah, and everybody
loved him. Compare that to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns cannot hold a candle to a bad guy anywhere from the Attitude Era back. He can't hold a candle to Mr. Fuji. Let's talk about managers. Where the fuck are the managers, and why do we not have manager storylines?
Well, and that's the thing is the manager. The only one that's there is the one that's Roman Reigns,
still, right?
Yeah, but he jumped like Brock Lesnar came back and Paul Heyman came back, and then all of a sudden he left.
Where's
and
Paul Bear? Is Paul Bear dead?
Paul Heyman?
Paul Barrett's dead.
Oh yeah, Paul Bear died. Yeah. I think
But
Paul
not-
Bearer was like the last legit wrestling manager, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like he was like the last like legitimate. All he did, he wasn't an announcer or anything like that. He legitimately all he ever did. He's like, oh,
Yeah, he was a prop.
like,
Yeah.
I loved Paul
can we
Bearer, man.
stop
Like
for a
I
second,
loved
though,
Paul
and
Bearer
acknowledge
for how
something
much
crazy?
of a wuss he was. Like I loved Paul Bearer for that.
Well, and
Go
the
ahead, Jack.
facial expressions and stuff. But I do have to say though, nowadays, I honestly, instead of just being eye candy anymore, the women's division, because they've gone away from the whole diva thing.
Yep.
They tried that whole thing with the diva matches, and that was kind of bringing out the more of the women into the frame. But
Yep.
now, like, there was a big push for them to get away from that, and it's like now it's the women's division, and now
Yep.
I enjoy watching those matches a lot more than the other ones because there's just purely because
100% I agree with Bomber. Women's wrestling now
Somebody
and the
clip that.
women's representing in professional wrestling is 300% better than it was
yes
even in the Attitude Era. In the Attitude Era, they were mainly like eye candy and like, arm candy with a couple, like you've got ones that did wrestle like Trish Stratus and Sable. But even
China.
then, China was no woman.
no
That's not what
So,
the video said.
Joni, what was it? Joni Laurer was her name? Joni Laurer, right? Wasn't that China's real name?
Oh, I'm not sure.
But at
But I
the
know a
same,
guy that
that might have started signifying the turn, but it turned in the wrong way. Like they started giving women a little bit more of the spotlight as
China's from
physical
Rochester.
athletes, but then they went the way of divas.
yeah that
Nobody
almost
here
killed it.
believes that Stacy Keibler can kick anybody's ass. They just
Yeah.
enjoyed the fact that she had 8-foot long legs from her heel to her hip.
The leggy Stacy Keibler.
Let's be honest too. It's kind of like trying to compare that people actually love watching lingerie football for the game.
I am not going to lie to you. My wife will tell you. I have pointed
It's
it out
actually
to her.
interesting games,
I watch.
Hmm.
And by the way, have a little bit of respect. It's no longer the Lingerie Football League. It's the Legends Football League, and it is fucking phenomenal
for a reason.
Those women
when
go
it first started,
or
but when it first started, how terrible really was the
Oh my god, it was
itself.
it was starters and teddies. And,
I will say this: like trying to watch one of the quarterbacks throw a pass was horrible, but the hits were still legit. Those women played their hearts out and literally tried to injure each other, even from the very first game. There's never been any holding back with the amount of physical force that's ever gone in on that sport. The only thing I've never liked about it is that when you go to watch it, they still make it seem like it's some sort of weird Pornhub compilation. Because you can't watch a game from first kickoff to last kickoff straight through. They're constantly cutting and chopping it and only showing like the highlight. Look, dude, if we watched the NFL like that, nobody would want to watch the NFL either. It's
they do
like
this.
I don't need every
super slow mo on a girl going down and her butt jiggling. It's like,
but they also like all they do is they just cut to the next big hit or they cut to the next big play. Like you don't see anything in between. It's like, all right, 1st and 10, 4th and 5, and you're like, what just happened? I want to watch the game. Like legitimately, I enjoy watching that sport. Like, and my wife will tell you because she's caught me watching it thinking I was looking at something wrong. I've been like, no, watch this. Watch. Here, I'm going to rewind this. Yep. And she's like, oh, is she dead? I'm like, I don't know.
That's why I'm watching.
Could be. That's why I'm watching.
But yeah, I mean, with the female, the women's division now, I mean, there's some serious athleticism, combinations, their move sets. It's far beyond a lot of the matches that I watch from the men. I mean, it's like they go out there, they flop each other around, they try to throw a couple of their finishing moves at each other, and then all of a sudden somebody comes out with a chair, smacks them in the head when no one's looking, and the match is over. And it's like, well, that was anticlimactic. And then the women come out there, it's out there for 15, 20 minutes, and they're throwing each other all over the ring.
Women's wrestling has really taken a very positive turn, in my opinion, when it comes to professional wrestling entertainment. I think they're going in the right direction. And like Bomber said, I'm sorry, like I really enjoy watching the women's wrestling matches more than I do the guys. And it has nothing to do with their builds or their bodies, or it has to do with natural raw talent. And honestly, the women have better storylines going on than any of the guys.
Yeah.
Like they know how to do it, and they're building it right. And I'm excited for it.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. No, it's good. That was a good wrestling chat.
Can we wrap up the wrestling chat with some really mind-blowing fact that I found earlier?
Oh, yeah. Please, God, yes.
So when we were talking about Roman Reigns, I Googled him as producer of the show.
He's not the producer of the show. You are.
He's not the producer of the show.
No.
Okay.
Me.
I was going to say, we don't have that kind of budget here.
All right. No, we don't. He's a hard get. Roman Reigns has 4 famous wrestling cousins.
Mm-hmm.
He is cousins with Rikishi, Umaga, Yokozuna, and Sam Fatu. All the same family.
I couldn't.
Isn't he Samoan?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got way more cousins than what you just mentioned. Then trust me.
I thought he was related to The Rock too.
So as somebody that was in the military
for 20 years, wiki right now. That was just on like the quick hits. He was also in the Shield.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love how surprised he was, and nobody else in here was. They were like, "Yeah, that's how he started, bro."
Oh, I didn't. Listen.
No, that's how he started, and he never spoke a word. Never said a word. He was the quietest guy in the Shield. He was the guy that always stayed in the background, and he was just the muscle. And I was really happy to see that they advanced.
I thought he was on like the TV show, The Shield.
No. Oh God.
Oh,
damn it.
that's why I was
All right,
surprised.
somebody
I
help
thought
this
he
man.
was on, like,
I
the
could see the
speaking
surprise
shit.
if that's what he was thinking now.
Yeah.
I could
He's
see
like,
that.
and he was on the Shield.
Well, no, because I'm looking through the wiki and it's
Bad,
like
you know.
the Shield in April 2014. Like there was no professional wrestling in the Shield.
No.
So
Might have made it better.
one last little thing I'm going to mention before we move over to the picker wheel. I'm sure we're only going to have time for like one picker wheel. As somebody that was in the military for 20 years, and again, I have to make the statement all the time. I am not racist. I see stereotypes and observe them. That's all that I'm saying. In the military, every duty station I was at, there was at least 1 to 2 Samoans that worked in the supply unit, and they all knew each other. And if you want to talk about a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation, that's it. You want to get something done in the military, at least in the Army, you want to get something done, find a Samoan, talk to him, let him know what you need. He's going to talk to 20, 30 other units on that post, and within 2 hours, you're going to have what you need. Because that is a family. That is the legitimate definition of family has your back, not your blood. And if you want to talk about close-knit families, Samoans. All day.
Yeah.
Much respect for Samoans, man. The amount of family that's embedded in that culture is unsurpassed.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome.
You can't exactly duck them on American Samoa, though. There's really probably not too much places to go to be like, oh man, it's cousin Ricky. Gotta go higher.
So Matt, what we got for the picker wheel, brother? Sorry, I really ran it long this time. I'm sorry.
No, there's nothing about that. Was a good free flowing, and that's what we've mixed things up to be. I want it to be something that we love. That's why I picked that topic. I knew it, you know what I mean? And this was good. People in here, like, look at John. John's like, fellas, I'm enjoying your show. And we appreciate you, John. You know what I mean? And if you want to see the rest of the comments that we don't feature, John, you can come over to the YouTube and you'll see all of these amazing people in here as well. And speaking of amazing people, before we get into the picker wheel, because last week we spun our take on VR pub socializing. I forgot to do any research on there. That's not a 2-minute conversation.
Oh yeah, because we were supposed to like all try to get together.
Yeah.
We also still need to do Phasmophobia.
Yes.
Which I was going to talk. I'll talk to you about once we get done with here, because you, me, and Richie, I think we'll be able to do it on one of the days this weekend if you have time.
Hell yeah, we'll figure something out for sure. But I just want to give, as promised, I promised, shout out to all our YouTube members, all the people that press the join button. Nita, Autumn, Metal Queen, Zach Sweeney, that's him. Toby's Army, Bomber 521, that's 3 of the 4 of you. Kush, Kelly, CT Anderson, Grim, Locke, Elo, and Lalita. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. We're gonna leave you scrolling on the bottom. We can't we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a Phasma, and we're gonna figure it out. We're probably gonna do like a cool little stream on some networks and stuff. It's gonna be fun. It was something that came up on the Tuesday show, which is Triple T. If you're enjoying this, head on over there. It's funny TikTok videos. You'll probably like it. If you don't, then that's on us. We'll give you all of the money back from today's show. Just all right, let's do the thing. We're gonna spin one and see if we can do this in a quick one.
I think we'll knock out Phasmophobia as a test, and I'll record it the first time.
We can't do this one quickly. No, we can't do this quickly.
No. That one just came up tonight, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is gonna get violent.
It always gets spun like whatever's asked. It seems like all right. So we're gonna see if we got a quicker one on here, because that's not gonna be the one. I'm a big boxing fan like these guys, and okay. I don't know. We could knock this out quick.
All right.
I'm gonna go quick. Mine is 8 hours. I can do 8 hours, and after 8, I get annoyed.
Let's put this into context.
Okay.
What's the purpose of the drive? Let's do it like this. What's the purpose of the drive?
Brandon.
And that will determine.
What'd you guys that?
Said okay, Brandon.
Whoa.
What
is the intent of our travel? Is it for like a job for work, or to go see family, or is it to go to like you're wanting to go check out a concert that you've always wanted to see? Like,
let's go concert.
Okay, let's go concert.
Farthest to drive for a concert. How far would you go? I'm going like 5.5 hours Tuesday. So that's one way.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
I'll give you mine because mine's gonna be like almost a polar opposite of yours. I will give you 45 minutes for me to drive to a concert.
I did 8 hours round trip.
Holy shit!
I did from Ogdensburg to Buffalo and back in one night.
That's fun.
Yep, it was awesome though. Actually, Dance Gavin Dance.
There we
was
go.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going. The concert. How long was the concert?
Doors were at 7. Headliner took the stage at about 10. Show got over. We got out at about probably quarter to midnight. Didn't get on the road until probably 1.
Okay, so 1 o'clock, and the doors opened when you said 10?
Doors were at 7.
7.
And
so
we
you were there.
4,
so wait. So you were there 4. You drove 4 to get there, and
Yep.
so you spent twice as long on the road as you did at the event.
Yeah, and it was a standing event, so I didn't even get to sit down and catch my breath.
Hey,
four openers and a headliner. We didn't miss a single track. Tyler O'Grady, if you're still in the show, still in the chat.
He did.
Sound off,
He did 42 in 3 days. 42 hours in 3 days, one time driving.
Oh yeah, because he went to Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but yeah, and the one we're going to. Go ahead, Bomber.
I technically, for a show, because I used to do production work. Technically,
to one that you went to watch, Bomber, not one that you went to work at. See, that's why I said work or entertainment or. See, you tried cheating, you little bastard.
Doesn't count. No, there's no first place on this one. 7.
7.
Round trip or one way?
One way.
All right.
And it was an overnight and then come back.
Yep, that's what we're doing. We're going to watch Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill Tour.
Ooh, I'm pretty jealous actually.
So,
and the work one was, I can't remember how many hours, but it was from here to Colorado in a semi.
Wow, yeah, that's a good one.
So you're in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to put that in perspective for everybody else that was watching.
Yeah.
No, Ohio to Colorado.
In a semi with a guy that was this Italian guy that was about 5'2", maybe 5'1", and probably
You're with Damon?
No, I don't think he could hang like Damon. But yeah, little Italian guy had stories from since he was like, yeah, when I was on tour with Rolling Stones. Oh God, here we go.
Here we go.
I did get quite a people to drive here. So there's plenty of people that can tell you that they've drove
9 hours.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Driving stinks, but either way. Oh yeah. So next Tuesday, Triple T is going to be canceled. I just remembered. I'm going to be at the show.
What?
Yeah. I just remembered.
Give me access. I'll run that shit.
Toby.
All right. We'll figure this out.
Toby does it.
All right. We'll figure this out. All right. That's all we got.
He's like, Toby's got it, bro. He's addicted now. He's got to do it.
All right, we'll do the thing. There'll be a show Tuesday. Toby is going to handle this, and that's all we got. All right, that's the end of the show. Thank you, Bomber, for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. Producer Zach, good to see you on camera. I think if you don't like it, then just send me an email, shoot me a message on Instagram, and be like, get that mug off there. If everybody shows up next week, he might be back just camera, mic only. But either way, and as always, thanks, Toby. We're gonna chat backstage. Can't thank everybody enough. And again, you'll see these guys on Tuesday, some of them, some form of combination. But again, that's all we got. That was fun. It was a good time. I'm going to do the outro now. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about now? Still ready?
What you got, Zach? You going to give us something again?
Yeah.
Now's your time.
Today's show is brought to you by Chex Mix.
Boo. It's not at all. And then they're going to flag us for because I
they were the whole show monetization.
You just ruined the whole monetization. Now you owe us at least $27.
Damn it!
$27.
You can't say the S word. It's brought to you by or our friends at. Unreal. All right, producer Zach is officially fired. Gotta go.
Damn.